Lie well and do good. Yes, we have to go soon. Feel her breath.
Yeah. Yeah. Pretty cool.
So remember, we're not here long. Like the breath of a buffalo on a cold day. So this is as good as it gets. We're going. Good girl. Good girl.
And what's her name? She's beautiful.
Thank you for all that you do for me.
Yeah, you'll just ask
Pat.
Daniel.
Pat over there is another lady that helps me out a lot. Is Janice here yet? Okay. Look around. There's just so many people here. All of y'all. I don't even know how many years I've been doing this now. Lavonda, how many years? 34? About that, 34. And there's been a lot of animals in 34 years. And I forget a lot of things, but I think I remember every one of them. So, yeah.
Well, going back in time, what about Buzzy? You know, your best buzzard Buzzy, many years ago.
Many years ago, probably 20, I was on top of the mountain. I had a zoo up on Queen Wilhelmina, right behind the train shed. The glory days, those were my best years, I think. I loved that place. Had a fantastic zoo. Very few things were even caged. I just raised up and let it run around from up there. It was like Grizzly Adams in his mountain. People came from thousands of miles away to see that place. It was very famous. And across the mountain from us is another mountain called Blackfort Mountain, and it has this huge rock slide on it. And one year a turkey hunter was over there, and he brought this baby vulture that he found, which he kidnapped because there was nothing wrong with it. He took it right out of the nest and brought it to me. Well, a vulture can see a mouse from a mile away. And so at that time, if you remember, I had baby birds everywhere. I just put them in a nest, didn't cage anything, and just raised them in a nest. When they flew off, they flew off. I did a lot of things that way. And before they made it against the law, because that's too much the right way. Now you have to put things in a cage. And so Mama Vulture and Daddy Vulture found this vulture, which I raised at the base of my waterfall, and they landed and they helped me raise him there. And then for the next 10 years, they came and raised their babies at that waterfall. And I had a biker gang of vultures. At one time I think there was 15 of them when you told me I had to do something, because even the bears would hide when they would come and land. One day we're standing there and they came and landed far in the zoo, and the wife tells me, it's like a gang of bikers coming in. She says, look, the bears, the mountain lion, everything in the zoo just went into the cage because they run the place. You have to do something. And so I quit feeding them, and 10 years later they went away. But when I would drive this little train around the top of the mountain, and every trip that I would take, were you privy to this time of the year when he would follow us, sitting on the train, he would follow right beside me, he would fly the whole distance all the way around the train. It's 15 miles from my house to that mountain. I would drive home, and if I stopped in front of the red light at Walmart in the middle of Mena, that vulture would land on my roof, wouldn't he? And then he would meet me back at the house. And in the morning, he would fly back to the top of that mountain. Anywhere that I went in that town, that bird would land on my truck. He could find me. I had a bright red truck at the time. And but what happens if you got near me?
He attacked everybody.
He attacked everyone that got near me if you laid a finger on me. And then so did all the rest of them started doing that.
Wow.
And it ended when they ate the seed of a Harley. And they came down there very mad, wanting $500 for seed of that Harley. And I can, with my silver tongue, before they left, they gave me a $100 donation and a hug. But they were quite mad when they arrived.
They were proud of the fact the vulture ate their
They were proud of the fact that the vulture ate their seed because I made them feel that way. What a special thing to happen to you. And so I gave Buzzy 15 years ago and so if a bird is rehabbed and an imprint on me, this guy did shows and still does, and they average 110 black vultures. He's still doing good, I've talked to him.
Good.
And he does educational programs with him. And so for him, that bird does not attack me, everybody that's around him. So if something's imprinted on me, that's bad. I try to prevent that. And so that's the hardest part of rehab, is preventing animals from imprinting on me. And that's the part that, if you take a baby chicken and you're standing there with a dog and that chicken egg hatches, okay, and I walk off in one direction and the dog walks off in another, that baby chicken will follow the dog. If me and a dog and an emu are standing there and we all go in different directions, that baby chicken will follow the emu. He knows basically what his mother's supposed to look like, but she's supposed to be there, okay? So if nobody is there and you come in 3 hours after that egg hatches, they've all imprinted on each other and they will all run away from you, okay? And so a chicken's imprint window opens in the first 3 hours after it hatches. And that's when it looks at something and says, I'm what you are, okay? And you do not want a baby bear, eagle, hawk, mountain lion, any of that, looking at you and thinking, I'm a man. So what I had to do was basically, like if I'm raising a baby bear cub, I had to put on a bear suit and I had to become a bear. Otherwise, he would become a man. Because you can't raise something like a bear. For 18 months, a mama bear takes the baby around and she shows it, at this time of the year, you find this food source in this location. Okay, like muscadines, or here at this time of the year, you flip logs and find grubs at this time of the year. And that's how you raise a bear. And if you just take it home and bottle feed it and leave it in a cage and you turn it loose, it's going to be an imprint, which means it will never breed with its own kind. It'll always think it's a man, and it does no good to release an imprint back in the wild because it's never going to make a baby, and that's the whole point of releasing things in the wild, to continue the species. All right, so knowing when the imprint window opens on every animal is crucial. And so give me an example. Somebody say an animal.
Dog.
Dog. All right, so my wife recently got a dog for herself. One day she was gone right after she got it. It spent the day with me. That dog is my shadow now. She had to get another dog because it bailed on her, because its imprint window opened. So she just got a replacement dog. She would not let me touch it for the first 2 weeks. She took it to bed and slept with it every night, and it has imprinted on her now. And so you have to be like my Taylor. Where's my granddaughter? Taylor, come here. Where's Taylor?
Hey, Cody, send Taylor up here.
So my granddaughter, as a prime example, I had this baby barred owl, and she helps me a lot. She may be my replacement someday. And she helps me a lot. And so I had this baby barred owl 2 years ago, and it had just came in, and she went out there to see it. I swear you was out there just a few hours with it, right? It imprinted hard on her. Won't accept anybody else but her. And if you release an imprint, it will attack everyone but her. That's how it works. And so if you don't know what you're doing, you raise a baby, say great horned owl, you turn it loose into the wild and it's an imprint. Nobody will know what happens until a year later when it becomes of breeding age, and it will claim a territory which it defends against all other owls normally. Well, if it thinks it's a people, it claims an area, and then any person that walks in there besides the one it's imprinted on gets attacked. Okay, 10,000 pounds per square inch with a 6-inch foot. They've killed people. Actually, a great horn is one of the birds of prey that has killed man. So you don't want that. And so, but that is the hardest part of rehabbing, is not making an imprint out of a baby that you've received. So there's lots of ways around that. One is a puppet. You know, make a glove that looks like a puppet. Never let an animal see you just drop food in. Now, if it's already old enough, like a baby great horn, for example, when you first get them in, their eyes are hazed over. And that's what God did to prevent them from leaving the nest early. Okay? It keeps them close to the nest. When those eyes go from hazed over, they look blind, to clear in one day, that day, within the first 2 hours, it's deciding what it is. If you do not have another out that time, you can put a mirror there. That works. But you can't just be standing there, or it's running forever. So there's so many little things like that that took so many years to learn. When I started rehabbing, they knew absolutely not much about any of it. And so most of this came from trial and error. Error was when I was born, an era ago. And so error, and that's how you learn. And so with my 80,000 losses or wins, there's no telling how many losses there were there during the learning years. And so it's been a hard job, hard on the soul, because you get to see all of the bad in the world too. And that's probably why I complain so much about it.
Well, during the time you had the little museum there at Mina,
Yes,
and
ma'am.
so when you had to leave there, the animals you had, the bear, the tiger, or the alligator, they knew you because I know you got in the pit with the alligators. They didn't eat you,
Right.
So therefore, what happened to those animals there?
You remember I had the big rattlesnake pit? I'd jump in
yeah.
there.
Oh,
Everything
yeah.
in that zoo loved me, if you remember.
Yeah.
And somebody broke into that zoo, killed my otter in the cage, let the bear and a bunch of things out. You remember? That's
No,
what
I
got
didn't
me
know
off
that.
of the mountain. And the park rangers had caught who did it that night coming over the wall. They talked to them for 2 hours, didn't realize what they had done, and then cut them loose. And didn't even remember the name or get it. But I paid them $10,000 a year for water and security. But they were so mad at me for somebody breaking in and letting them out that they booted me off the mountain. But the city of Mina bought me the land below, and I moved down below. And I was there for many, but it was not the same because up there I had all the traffic going to the lodge. And if you remember, there was a lot. I had, on average, 100 species. At times, close to 200. You remember everything, if it swam, jumped, or flied. And so I had to cut way back because I was making a ton of money then during tourist season. And it takes a ton of money to raise that many animals. I'm sure I've had millions of dollars go through my hands. And I'm probably the only one that took my entire career's worth of all the money I ever made, put it into something that I've then turned loose. That's what the wife tells me. And you can tell now when you look at what I wear in my house, but I was rich in many other ways. So never cared much for money. I think it's the root of all evil. I've always been about animals. But God has blessed me in many ways. And so once again, I just have to say that everything that I was able to do over all those years was due to one thing. God allowed me to do it. And I'm quite sure of that. And so I never start to work on an animal without talking to God first. Talk to God pretty regular, for 15 minutes or so on average. And if I didn't, I would probably have most rehabbers have a 30 to 40% success rate. And, we're probably at 70 or 80. And so I attribute that to God, not to my talent in any way. So that's the first thing you do when you get older is you try to become humble and realize that, because, that's the truth. But I'm glad you made it to that zoo. Is anybody here, who else is here that remembers that little zoo on top of the mountain? Yeah? That was a fantastic place, wasn't it? That was the highlight.
All the field trips, we took the kids.
Becky, come up here. This lady here, she's very shy, but she is a very good friend of mine too. And she used to bring kids to the school trips. I used to go to schools all over Arkansas and bring lots of animals and teach them about animals that lived in their own backyard and not to pick them up, which was huge, by saving millions of animals by teaching kids that not to kidnap babies. Because during the summer when they're out for school and they're running around the woods, they're finding baby birds and baby all kinds of things. And so I did that for 30 years. And did y'all know it is now against the law for me to go to a school with a native animal? I could use an exotic from Africa or something, but it's against the law for me to go to a school and teach a kid about an animal that lives on a North American continent. That's the government party, and I hate to say that one more time. Now I'm getting on my high horse, and see, now I'm going to get mad because, yeah.
You even brought Otto out to the school.
Yeah, so I used to bring the baby otter and show kids, let it swim and teach people how otters. And so otters, that is my favorite. Otters and bears, that's my clan. And so, has anybody ever been swimming with me with otters? We have to teach. No,
Not yet.
John has, no. And so, a spear gun, mask, snorkel, fins, swimming with an otter, that's the most fun I've ever had in my entire life. And that's the best days I've probably ever had. And the otters, as babies, ride on my back. And I have to teach them to fish. And it's fun.
Yeah.
And I really like the otters. And see, that's when I left the zoo at the bottom of the mountain. Somebody broke in, killed the deer that I had been raising. He was like a 27 point that year. Killed him in his cage and killed the baby otter. And so that's why I sold that. Didn't go back there. Still can't talk about that otter. 12:30. She's panting, so I have to go put her on ice or speed things up. God, would you please help me out here with the shade, and a little bit of sprinkle would probably help to cool the dust off before we leave, too. And if you talk to God just like that, you'll always be amazed at how He will listen and do things for you on a daily basis. But, so I've read along long enough here. Daniel, there you are. Daniel here, we were talking about the other day. I've known Daniel for 18 years. Come here, Daniel. I love Daniel. He's like my brother. Very much. And so, Daniel, will you say a prayer for us?
Hey everybody, first of all, I come here for two reasons today. One is for my daughter. My daughter died recently, and we're going to release her ashes after we release the eagle. We have we have a problem going on here in the United States now. It's fentanyl. It's killing our youth. Everybody here has probably have somebody in their family or that knows somebody that has died from it in the recent past. So we really need to pray for this. We need to get rid of this stuff. Opida Tonkasha, grandfather. We come here today in a good way. We come to pray for the eagle release that's happening. His name is Mapia, which means sky. Sky, which is also my daughter's name. I named her a beautiful name. Now when I look up, every time I look up, I can see her face. Thank you, grandfather, for the beautiful name. Grandfather, we thank you so much for just existing another day here on this beautiful place, our Mother Earth. We thank you, grandfather, for allowing us to open our eyes again. We're all here in this very spot for a reason. There's a lesson in this for everybody. Some words that I'm speaking that somebody needs to hear. Something that Tommy's saying that somebody needs to hear. So thank you. There's that wind Tommy talked about. Thank you, grandfather. Thank you. Thank you for another day. Thank you for another day. Y'all look over here. See my beautiful daughter. This was years ago with one of the mountain lions that Tommy had. Tina. That's her. Thank you for her beautiful life, grandfather. With that, I'm just going to sing one song. I'm going to sing a bear song for my other brother, Standing Bear, that has passed on.
Standing Bear came to every release.
Thank you, grandfather.
So I think God is here with us now, obviously. Can y'all feel Him? feel him in the wind, the sky, and the breeze. So it's going to be a good release today. Jerry, this guy back there, y'all see that guy? That guy helps me a lot. He's very shy. He's a great man. And he's one of the other people that I couldn't do this without. People all in this crowd. Janice, come here. She's so shy. Where's Chris?
Here I am.
Chris. This is Janice and her sister. You know, I told y'all earlier that, you know, I had 7 wildlife.
Tommy was very sick, and we were going through a very rough time.
I was in a wheelchair.
He couldn't walk,
They said I would probably die.
and Janice came, her husband Richard, and they took him to North Arkansas to a disease specialist and got him the help he
He
needs.
said I'd have been dead in 2 days if she had brought me there.
She is our other mother. We love her dearly. She's part of our family, and we thank y'all so much. Because Tommy's here today because of her.
That's a fact. But she has brought me closer to God because she is the light that we all fly around like moths seeking her light. She makes me want to be a better man. All right, we're done with all that now. Let's get happy and get ready for the eagle release. And we're going to sing the bear song.
I did sing the eagle song. Wombly Gata, hey, Wamayanku, hey, Tonka Shela, walk on Tonka, Wamayanku, hey, Wombly Gata, hey, Wamayanku, hey, we're going to change direction. We're going to look that way. Wombly Gata, hey, Wamayanku, hey, Tonka Shela, walk on Tonka, Wamayanku, hey, Wombly Gata, hey, Wamayanku, hey, we'll change direction. Wombly Gata, hey, Wamayanku, hey, Tonka Shela, walk on Tonka, Wamayanku, hey, Wombly Gata, hey, Wamayanku, hey. Wombly Gata, hey, Wamayanku, hey, Tonka Shela, walk on Tonka, Wamayanku, hey, Wombly Gata, hey, Wamayanku, hey, all right. Wombly Gata, hey, Wamayanku, hey, Tonka Shela, walk on Tonka, Wamayanku, hey. Everybody face the center now. Wombly Gata, hey, Wamayanku, hey. Wombly Gata, hey, Wamayanku, hey. Tonka Shela, walk on Tonka, Wamayanku, hey. Wombly Gata, hey, Wamayanku, hey. Wopida Tonka Shela, Thank you for this beautiful day. Thank you for this beautiful life. Thank you for allowing us to exist and wake another day. Ho ho. Ho ho.
She a red tail?
Yeah.
Oh, good. She got a hood on her?
No.
No.
She has nothing on.
Okay. It's kind of hard to see. I'm hoping that the camera picks her up. It's hard to see because the screen has a protective over it. Oh, she's beautiful. Thank you. Thank you for showing me her.
Well, it's usually one out of 10,000 all across America. Thank you.
Is that your tablet?
Yeah, this is one of my tablets.
Hey guys, I just wanted to get on here real quick also to let you know that the All Creatures Animal Hospital did the surgery for this eagle pro bono. It was a $1,200 surgery, and we would like to give them a big shout out and help support them. They also do accept donations. Here is their information, and we hope to see you guys at the next eagle release in October. Thank you.
Oh. Oh, I think he's going to the other side. Is he going to the other side? Okay.
Never mind.
Good.
Right below where they slide. What time is it now?
It is 12:41.
They're not here, they're gonna miss it.
Yeah. Can't let her get much hotter.
Sure can't. Is your bill open?
No. No.
Bill's closed, all right, we're back in good shape.
She's drooling now.
Huh?
I think he just put water.
Yeah, I'll put some water in her bill. Right there, you can do it. You know. All right. Are all the kids up where they can see? I'm tossing her that away.
She's got the helmet on.
Jerry, can you see from way down there?
Her head's on.
I know. I'll fix to pull her hood off and I'll try and hold her long enough for y'all to see her eyes, and here comes somebody. But she may not let me. Somebody, it's the man that, what's his name, man that's going to sponsor that saw her tear an eagle eye?
Mr. Hobby.
Mr. Hobby, are you here? Mr. Hobby?
I don't. He said he didn't think he.
Okay.
He was gonna try, but
They'll tear an ear off quick, I'll tell you. Did any of y'all come to that one where she tore my ear off?
Yes.
Huh?
Yes.
Hey, Tommy,
Yes,
can you
y'all are-
tell us her name one more time before you release her?
Mapia,
Alpia.
which means sky.
Beautiful.
So she has a titanium. Here comes nobody. She has a titanium bone wing. That wing will never break again. It's what I call the $1,200 bionic wing. She's a cyborg like me. I've got a lot of steel in me. I'm stalling. I don't have much more time to wear me out. I'm gonna kneel. I'm gonna kneel out of humility and faith. Thank you, God, for the ability to do this. Please let her fly well and do good. Yes, we have to go soon. Feel her breath.
yeah.
So remember, we're not here long. Like the breath of a buffalo on a cold day. So this is as good as it gets. We're going. Good girl. Good girl.
Down below the tree line.
Right up there.
There, over there, hard right. I still see her, hard right.
Nice to meet you.
She was a little stressed, I could tell by the kick of her tail, but she'll shake that off now fast.
She was pretty wide-eyed.
Yeah, her eyes look good. So that's as long as we can wait, though. I hope nobody missed it.
Good job, Tommy. Good job.
Thank all of y'all for coming. God bless all of y'all.
Thank you.
Could not do it without y'all. Glad y'all could come. God bless y'all. That's 211th. I will see y'all on 212, which won't be long. 87,000 releases.
Wow.
God's amazing.